Welcome to another edition of Talking Irish, another podcast, day after Christmas. We are actually at a family-owned place, Shamrock Jacks, which many of you know. We're going to start off talking to Mark Pensing. His family has owned this place for a number of years. Mark, thanks for joining us today. Tell me a little bit about the history of Shamrock Jacks. I know it's got to be, I don't know, maybe 8 years now, and it's named after your grandfather, if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks for having me today, Jay. Yes, it is 9.5 July. Will be 10 years.
Okay.
The name is both of our grandfathers were both named Jack, and we want to honor them. So here we are. That's it.
And your family's not new to the restaurant business, correct? You've had other places, Jack Daniels and Webster, correct?
Yeah, Jack Daniels, Gal's Nest, the original Anchor a long time ago. My dad was partners in a few others, but...
So it sounds like you can't really run a business for long.
My dad's no longer involved here. Did I tell you that?
Okay. So, yeah, I would say I've been coming here pretty much since the place opened. I actually got a phone call from the former roommate and told me about it. And you consider yourself an Irish pub?
Yes. Yes, definitely an Irish pub.
And I'm assuming you guys were Notre Dame fans before you opened up Shamrock Jacks, correct?
Yep.
How did your family become involved with Notre Dame in terms of being fans?
With Notre Dame, it was going back to my grandfather when he used to watch the games sitting in his boxer shorts in his room with his Jenny beer, black and white TV, volume off, radio on, and we were allowed to go in and watch the games with him, but we weren't allowed to open our mouths.
Okay.
So we just watched and we just became fans, and then it's been Notre Dame ever since.
Okay.
We opened this place, and we were looking for... I used to hang out on Molly Malone's for all the games.
Sure.
And then until we opened here.
Was it an easy decision to make this the motif?
Yes, it was. And funny little story is my dad didn't really want to get into the sports type bar, and he didn't want any TVs. He wanted an old school Irish pub where he just drank and talked. And we talked him into a TV, and then we said if you have one, you got to have two. As he finally agreed, after a lot of persuading, to get the second TV, my brother Scott had thrown the third one up already, and he flipped out. Until the first Notre Dame game we had, he's walking around saying, "We need more TVs." So it's been like that since. And
regularly you have 1, 2, 3, about four TVs going at one time. Five. No, so I'm counting five in the bar itself.
Five TVs. For this game coming up,
yeah.
The dining room's closed, no dinners. It's a limited Notre Dame menu, which we're going to have fun with, like Hawaiian pizzas and Manti Teo pizza.
Excellent.
And so on and so forth. You have to come check it out. We are renting televisions and putting them in throughout the dining rooms, probably 4 or 5 more TVs. And then our jukebox company is actually bringing in speakers for us on loan, and he's going to hook it up in sync with all the TVs in the bar room, in the pub room. So we'll have the whole deal in a little bar set up in the back. Specials all day long.
Now, just a side note, one is that it's also a restaurant. They have fantastic food, but just a piece of information, I gave you guys a CD for the USC game, which they always do a tailgate for, but I have an updated one for the national championship game I'll get to you. Now, you work here with members of your family for a number of years. Obviously, Notre Dame for a number of years hasn't been great. Do you notice a change in terms of business or amount of people or the attitudes of people that come in when Notre Dame's winning as opposed to losing?
There's a difference. My favorite part about this place is no matter what happens with Notre Dame, we have our diehard Notre Dame fans no matter what. It's the same group every time. And they're the people, a lot of people, a lot of my friends will only watch it at home.
Sure.
And I get that. But a lot of the people that watch it here, after the first time, they say, oh, it's like watching at home because everybody here knows what they're talking about. They know what's going on in that group. But definitely is a big difference when they're winning. More people come out. We had a line to get in for the USC game, and it was crazy here. But it's fun. It's a good atmosphere. You can feel, like not really like you're there, but you're kind of like you're there.
Well, sure. What would you say makes this year a little bit different than years past? I think we've had we've seen some success in the past, to be sure. Obviously, Ty Willingham started off really well, and then we thought Charlie might be our savior and had a good year there. What makes this year a little bit different in your opinion?
You can tell the attitudes of the players, I think. I was going to ask you that same question. it still hasn't set into me or set in with me that they're actually going to be playing for a national championship. But I won't believe it until the actual day, the 7th, when the game's on. I'll be like, oh wow. But just the whole year, and people still aren't giving them enough credit. But their defense has been amazing. It seems like they're a more well-coached team. So you name the other coaches, but at Kelly, you liked him right away, but I like the other guys right away as well. So with him, I haven't been as excited. So maybe that's why it hasn't set in. But now I think he's the real deal. I don't know. We'll find out.
Now, obviously, expectations have been big, always big, and this year we're hoping for a decent year. I think a great year would have been a BCS berth. Obviously, the national championships even bigger. Let's say the unthinkable happens and then they lose. Would you consider this year a success, or is it a failure?
It's definitely a success. No doubt about it. They shouldn't even be playing here. A BCS game, like you said, would have been huge. This is the biggest it can get. It's no fluke that they're there, but they have nothing. I like that they're the underdog. I like the 10.5 points. They have nothing to lose. They just get out there and play, and I think they can. I think they will win it.
When the game's coming up in a couple weeks, it's been a very long layoff. Obviously, during the season, every Saturday, you've got something going on, and people show up and they're excited. And it's been 4 weeks now since they've played. Have you noticed how Saturday's been a little bit different in here since the games have stopped happening, or has it been a little bit okay because people know they're coming back on the 7th?
I wish they could play every Saturday throughout the year. With the holiday season, we've been pretty busy, a lot of parties and a lot of things, so it's actually worked out pretty well for us. And then I'm a little more relaxed because I don't have to worry about what's going on the television. But yeah, it is different. But.
Do you like the long layoff? I mean, 6 weeks is a real long time, but do you like a couple weeks or even the 6-week layoff?
I don't know.
Why not?
Well, I want the playoff system.
Okay, well, sure.
It's too long in between. It's maybe a week off, 2 weeks tops, but it's too much. I get worried the team. I mean, do they lose focus? How are they practicing?
Sure. I mean, all the kids are home now for the holidays. I know most of them came home on Saturday or Sunday following, and speaking to some players, I know following Lewis Nix, he was tweeting that he was riding a bike the other day, and I was nervous about that of injury. And actually, I got a message from Jerron Jones, who is a redshirt freshman who obviously, hopefully won't play. He was going to throw the ball around at his old high school this morning, and I emailed him and said, don't do that. Please don't get hurt. I mean, are those concerns for you, or is it just that they're going to lose focus? What else goes through your head?
It's funny you said the riding the bikes thing because there was a couple of players riding bikes in front of the fire department. There's a guy here, we have a tie to the fire departments, and he was in South Bend, and he's bunked there for games with the firemen there, and he had pictures of a couple of players riding bicycles around campus, so I thought it was kind of funny. But at least they're not
motorcycles.
Yeah.
Okay. Next year was going to be the big year. Let's say they win the national championship game or lose it, but they've made it to it. A lot of people are coming back. Obviously, Manti is gone, but there's a lot of players coming back. Next year was supposed to be the pinnacle. What are realistic expectations for next year now? I mean, anything short of a national championship game, will that be a failure?
It all depends what happens with this game, but actually, either way, it's nice that we could talk about that. When's the last time we could ask a question like that? I think that they definitely need to make a BCS game. There is going to be a playoff system next year, so to make that would be big, just to be in the top 5. Let's see what happens here. They got a good recruiting class. Good things are starting to fall into place. Just hopefully that it stays that way. And so I don't know. After all these years of being disappointed, I hope it doesn't happen again. I guess my expectations are high of them.
Now, Mark, 1988 was the last year they won the national championship. How old were you in 1988?
15, I think. 15, right around there.
Okay.
I don't know, how old are you, Jay?
Well, I'm a little older than you are. So.
I thought we were the same age.
No.
How old were you
in 1988, well, that's a great question. I was a sophomore in high school, so yeah, okay, I was a little bit older, so that's about right. So you remember that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now,
West Virginia.
Yeah, did you think that? Oh my God, we're going to win it every year?
Back then, yeah, every year you thought they were going to win it every year. Yeah, but I don't remember. It's been a lot of Jameson between 88 and now.
What now in that time frame? What has been your biggest heartbreak or disappointment? I mean, obviously there's been a lot of them, but do you have a couple that stand out?
The one that you were involved with. We were in New Orleans. And I remember after the game that it was 14-14 halftime, and then LSU blew them out, and then the LSU fans were. I did not care for them. I'm not speaking about all of them, but there was a couple.
It was pretty much a home game for that team.
Definitely a home game. And I remember after the game, tears in my eyes, took my shirt off, threw it in the streets in New Orleans, and said, "I'm done with this team." And you calmly picked up my shirt and said, "Put the shirt back on." I think you slapped me in the face. I said, "Thank you, Jay. That's what I needed." And
I vaguely remember that now
because I thought, I'm here. They're gonna win, So.
That's interesting. I vaguely remember that now. I remember a lot of things about that trip, but it was funny because I actually brought an LSU grad with us to watch the game.
A USC fan.
Yes. So it was a great trip. I would say mine was actually here at Shamrock Jacks, the Bush
USC,
Push here. Yeah, USC, and the place was packed. I mean, absolutely mobbed, and. We thought we had it, and it was funny because when we lost, it wasn't a lot of screaming upset. It was a lot of quiet. It was silence. Couldn't believe it happened.
I'm getting goosebumps. You just talked to me about that one. I had to walk out of this building, and I walked around the block not once but twice before I could come back and talk to people because I was that upset. So you're right. That was probably the worst one.
Now, what would it mean to you? What would it mean to Shamrock Jacks to win a national championship this year? To have everybody here? I'm expecting a big turnout. The games this year have been very well attended. For those of you who don't know, Shamrock Jacks actually led a group to Ireland to go see them play Navy. So there's some passionate fans here. What do you think it would mean to the Shamrock Jacks family to win a national championship?
I don't want to say it'd be like actually being one of the players that win it, but it would be probably the next best thing because of what you just said, all the passionate people here and the people that know, and to begin the year in Ireland, and it's a special year. The whole year has been incredible, and it's just that'd be the icing on the cake. I don't know what would happen. I'm hiding the matches from you. Even Kathy, the main owner here, she's given us free reign to do. She's prepared for the best of the worst.
I do have fireworks prepared, which are illegal in New York State, but
some champagne, and we'll definitely have a good time, and then it'd be like Shamrock Jacks winning a championship as well.
And I can speak from experience. This is also, to a lesser extent, a Celtics bar in a sense. And we watched them win the championship a number of years ago, and they had not won it since the mid-'80s. And it had been a very long time, but a group of us gathered here to watch that. And I would say we celebrated that win with euphoria.
We had some champagne, and men, women. We were all smoking cigars in the front porch and popping bottles of champagne.
I even remember animals for some reason, but okay, it was beasts of all God's country were here.
No comment on that one. But a couple people from the restaurant and bar across the street came over to see what was going on. That's how much fun we had that evening.
Now, for those of us who are maybe have not been here before or come here occasionally or maybe for the first time, what do they need to do to come here? It sounds like it's going to be very packed. Do we need reservations? What's the plan for Shamrock Jacks the night of the championship game? It's an 8:00 game. We obviously you're open earlier in the day, and people will be open for lunch and things of that nature. But what are you asking of fans that want to come be part of that Shamrock Jacks? Jacks on that Monday?
We want you to come be a part of it. If you've never been here before, we want you to check this out and definitely come back in the future. We have a lot planned for that day. I would definitely make a reservation, especially if you have more than 2 of you.
Do I need a reservation even if I'm just going to come sit at the bar, although the bar will be packed? Just watch and have a couple of Guinness maybe? Do I still need a reservation?
You don't need a reservation, but I would still recommend one. We have, up to about 2 days ago, we had over about 89 people already on the books.
I'm on the list somewhere, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Same spot. We have... there's a lot going on. We got, like I said earlier, we have the TVs being bought in. We're gonna have full service to every diner. We're gonna make the dining rooms just like the pub, so you'll get that pub experience. But people are more than welcome to walk in, and we know we're gonna have a lot of walk-ins. We're gonna try and keep it the best we can. I mean, the last game we learned from that, it was crazy. We knew it'd be crazy, but not that crazy. This one's gonna be crazy. It is a Monday night, but there's a lot of Notre Dame fans.
If I'm an Alabama fan, or Alabama fans welcome, because I'll be honest with you, I've been to a number of games here where it's a very small number, but there have been USC, Pitt fans, Ohio State fans, fans of other teams that Notre Dame may be playing over the years that have come, and I gotta be honest, I think they've been relatively welcome, but this is obviously a different circumstance.
They're still welcome. Everybody's always welcome. I don't think we'll get too many, and we'll definitely seat them in the worst seat possible in here. No, I'm just joking, but we've always made everyone feel comfortable, and it should be like that. That's how college sports are. So as long as they stay quiet. We also, just for that day, we're doing 2-for-1 drinks from 4 to 5. From 5
Does that include Guinness?
For you, yes.
Okay.
It's mostly the bats because they're sponsoring us.
Okay.
Then you have your Guinness, Smittix, Harp, Jameson, and Tullamore Dew specials from 5 to 6. From 6 to 8, Irish Ben McIntosh from the Wild Geese. Remember him? He's coming.
Sure.
He's coming into play.
Oh, really?
6 to 8, and then kickoffs at 8:30, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the game.
Now, during the rest of the year, you normally on Saturday evenings, there's been a lot more evening games, which I think it's a record this year for a number of Notre Dame night games. And traditionally, you have music, and you've had to bump them or make changes for that. What's the rest of the year like here in terms of Saturday afternoons? Obviously, that definitely changes. Saturday
afternoon's a fun afternoon to hang out. Even when Notre Dame's not playing, it's more of one of those laid-back days. A lot of fun. Everybody gets along. You're a stranger here but once.
Okay.
It's a good time.
Now, your brother Mike just walked by, who's working at Shamrock Jacks. He didn't want to. For some reason, he didn't want to talk, which is funny because usually he doesn't shut up. What does the whole family really get into this, or is it really just part of the business, or is it really the family is truly fans?
Mike and I have been fans forever. We've gone on many trips, many games, all over. In South Bend and all over, everywhere. Him and I are definitely passionate about it. My mom's always been a big Notre Dame fan. Everyone else, my brothers and sisters. My one brother, Scott, is the only one that never really cared for him. He's always been the black sheep of the family.
I was going to say, he doesn't come in that often anyway. He's not really welcome.
But we did take him with us one year, and he spent like $500 in the bookstore. He's just been wearing Notre Dame stuff since. So once you get there, it can change it. Once you come here for a game, it can change it.
Now, you mentioned earlier that, the start of this year in Ireland, and you and I were there together, but Mike was here, and you did a breakfast piece. A lot of people on the East Coast got to see it at 9 for breakfast. West Coast was early breakfast. What was the atmosphere here? I talked and I saw pictures. I talked to some people that were here. It was a little bit different in terms of a bar opening a little bit earlier than they normally would, but it looked like it was an unbelievable crowd. Obviously, can you speak to that even though you weren't here?
I was in Ireland. I kind of wish I was here. I did FaceTime them when we were in Ireland and got to see it was chaos. It was crazy, and people are still talking about it. So I kind of wish I was here, but again, I think that our tailgate party was a little bit better. But again, if I couldn't be there, definitely want to be here.
There's some actual talk about a game in China in the upcoming years, which would put it at some ridiculous time here. But just the travel, I know Brian Kelly was concerned about the travel, and it wasn't that bad going to Ireland. And I give the team a lot of credit. Ryan, who was their equipment manager, he did a fantastic job getting the stuff over. I don't know if you know this, but literally within an hour after the end of the game, the players were on the plane ready to take off. What are your thoughts about a game in China, which I'm only speculating would be it'd be a middle of the night game of some sort? Would you apply for a special permit? Because obviously you have to stop serving at 2, and I gotta believe it would start at a weird time. Or would you even consider going?
We definitely consider going. Why not? You only live once,
You understand China's a communist country, and they don't really take to certain activities the same way the rest of the free world does.
I heard they have some good mustards I'd like to try. And, I would check it out. I wouldn't have a problem. But no matter what, we'll definitely figure out a way here. We'll have the game on here, make a part out of it. Just got to do it the legal way, so we'll figure that out.
Okay. In closing, anything else you want to tell us or mention in terms of either the game or the Shamrock Jacks experience?
Just I already mentioned a bunch of it, but swing in. Even if you want to watch the game at home, like I said, a lot of the friends said if they win, they're coming here right away, right after. If you want to swing by before, it's like we have the happy hour things going on. We got the live Irish music. We're making a party out of it. It's going to be a good time. If you haven't been here before,
that'll be a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, just to close the show, Mark has brought out some traditional beverages for us. We got a Guinness in one hand and a shot of what I'm assuming is Jameson in the other, which we've done over the years to change the flow of the game, celebrate, or mourn as the years have been. So, Mark, thanks for joining us today. Salute.
Cheers.
Cheers. And come on down to Shamrock Jacks anytime, but of course, come before, come during, come after the game. And thanks for joining us for another podcast of Talking Irish.